right, guys, we're back with Ben Eubanks, commercial real estate agent extraordinaire. Ben, I'll pay you for saying that later. No, seriously, Ben.
I'm supposed to be paying you.
Ben is the man. Ben is the man. But I want to dive a little deeper, or I should say, maybe we, as listeners, want to dive a little deeper into Ben's experience and his evolution through the real estate industry. And I'm curious. I was talking to Ben earlier. The different real estate associations he's been involved with, and I was very impressed. And it wasn't a smooth road, because you're dealing with personalities, you're dealing with structures that have been in place for a pretty long time. I wanted Ben to touch on that, his experience dealing with the different real estate associations, and he's involved with one that he calls home now. That's the Inglewood Board of Realtors. Okay, and I myself am associated with the Inglewood Board of Real Estate. Ben, tell us how you came to settle at the Inglewood Board of Real Estate and your evolution through that process. Take it away, Ben.
So I want to plug Monique McCord. She's the CEO. She's the association executive of the Inglewood Board of Realtors. She's been there for about 5 years now. Top-notch person. She's the one who brought me together with Dillon. That's why I'm here, because of her connection. And I've known Monique since we were both at a previous association I won't name, but we were both there and I was a member of that association for years and years, almost probably 17 to 18 years. And because of one reason or another, I felt that I needed to go somewhere else. I went to another association of realtors that I won't mention either, for basically the same reason. I don't want to promote them necessarily, because I have my reasons. And then I went to another one. So throughout that association, my connection with these associations, being an independent broker, which is what I am, I'm not a member of one of the bigger branded brokerages, the Century 21s, the Remax, the Coldwell Bankers. I'm not a member of one of those, and they have the name recognition that I don't have. No one has heard of Ben Eubanks, but everyone has heard of Century 21. So being an independent practitioner, an independent and a small practitioner as I am, it was necessary for me to avail myself of the programming, the instructions, the educational offerings that the Association of Realtors offers. They have classes, they have insurance, they have benefits that they offer. So as an independent, I needed to belong to an organization like that to help me to learn what I needed to learn, to be credible, to be have the state-of-the-art information at my fingertips, so that I can be competitive as an independent contractor, realtor. I don't consider myself any less of a realtor, any less qualified than any realtor from any branded brokerage. I feel like I can do the same exact thing that they do. My license says the same thing that theirs says. So you won't be taking a chance when you deal with an independent broker necessarily. So that's why I belong to all these associations. I've never been a salesperson. When I first got my license in 2005, I took the license test for the broker. And nowadays, you can't even do that. You have to have 2 years prior experience working under some other broker prior to your ability to qualify to take the broker's test, to get the broker's license. So I've always been a broker. That's not the case anymore. You can't even do it that way anymore. I was always an independent. It's more comfortable for me I'd rather work to make 10 cents a day for myself. I'd rather work 18 hours a day for myself than work for someone else. That works for me. It might not work for the next person, but it works for me. And so I got into the business because of a family friend. I was transitioning from a career in education, secondary education. I have a state of California lifetime teaching credential for secondary education. So that was my first adult job out of college, USC. I graduated in 1978. So my first job was in education, but was at the point where I was running out of money at the end of the summer, because summers back in the day, the summer session was 3 months long. It wasn't year-round. Schools were not a year-round. The summer was June, July, August, and I loved having 3 months off. It was great, but I didn't get paid, so I used to always run out of money. Didn't manage my money well enough. Not that I was living extravagantly, because I wasn't, but I couldn't manage my money enough. So after 7 years of teaching, I said, I need to go into something else. And I just happened to have a family friend who was an appraiser, an FDIC HUD appraiser. And I asked him. I said, Mr. Adolph, can I go out with you during the day? Can I just tag along with you? And he said, yeah, sure, come on. So every day, when I used to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, I'd go to his house and we'd go ride out, and I'd learn from him. He was, like I say, an FHA appraiser, HUD appraiser. It was a different style of appraising that I eventually became, but I became an independent fee appraiser, which means I got paid by the job. I wasn't a staff appraiser. I didn't work for a savings and loan. I didn't work for a bank. I was independent. I was paid by the job. So independent fee appraiser, it gave me a lot of flexibility. It was lucrative for a while. It's very cyclical. Once the interest rates go up, you're going to be you're left high and dry, and then you're going to have to manage your money, live within your means, which is what we talked about on the way here.
Yes.
Live within your means. And you can find a way. Moved over into residential real estate, but like I said, when I was working for the FDIC, they asked me could I do a commercial real estate appraisal, and I said let me see what that requires. What do I need to prepare myself? What kind of professional research do I need to do so that I know what I'm doing? So I talked to people. I had help, and they walked me through this, and I did it. So and I moved on. But see, nowadays you have a situation where people start as residential agents, and it doesn't quite work out the way they want it to, as fast as they want it to. So they say, well, let me look over at the commercial space. Let me see if I can transition into the commercial space. And they try that, and maybe that works, maybe it doesn't. And you have another situation where, on the other hand, you have commercial practitioners who start off in commercial space, and then they say the same thing. Oh, this is not going the way I want it to go. It doesn't not meeting my expectations. Let me try the residential space. So there are transitions on both ends. But you do have the elite commercial practitioners who only do commercial. That's all they do. Or they specialize in one niche of commercial real estate. They only do office. They only do retail. They only do apartment buildings. They only do hospitality. Because there's 5 or 6 different segments of commercial real estate. It's not just one area. Just like in residential, there's high-end residential, and then there's flat level real estate practitioners.
So Ben,
yes, sir.
You mentioned, right in line with what you're saying right now, you mentioned that your niche is not just commercial real estate, but a certain segment of commercial real estate, which is office spaces, and that's what you concentrate on. Am I correct?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I just gave that as an example.
Okay.
Real estate is based on relationships. So when people call me, and a lot of times when I tell people I'm a real estate agent, they said, oh, where do you work? What area do you specialize in? What type of properties? And I said, I don't specialize in an area. I don't specialize in a type of property. What I do specialize in is relationships. Because people that have known me over the years, people that have known me since I was in the 3rd grade, literally, I still communicate with those people. I'm a very sentimental person. I value old relationships. I value old friendships. My elementary school days, my junior high school days were very traumatic in some ways, very dysfunctional in some ways. But I do value the people that I've known since those days that are still around. They survived whatever challenges we had to survive coming up. I grew up in Los Angeles. I went to public schools, all public schools. And it was one thing after another coming up.
Rough,
it was always something. So going back to what I said, when people call me and they say, Ben, can you do this real estate assignment? Can you do that? I'll listen to them, but what I'm really listening to is, do I know you? Are you someone who is a friend of me? You know me. We grew up together. We have the same background. We have the same socioeconomic foundation. We shared public school experience. We went to the Dorsey High Schools. We went to the LA High Schools. We went to the Hamilton High Schools. We went to Cienega Elementary School. We went to Mount Vernon Junior High School, which is now Johnny Cochran Junior High School. We went to Palms Middle School. We went to USC. We went to UCLA. So these people know me. I don't have to prove myself to them. I don't have to prove the kind of person that I am, which is what normally you have to do. You have to say, well, I'm this, I'm that. I'm the Fortune 500. I'm the top 5 producer, and all these kind of qualifications. Well, those are valuable qualifiers. But I don't necessarily rely on that. I rely on, do I know this person, and does he know me? Does he or she know me? That's why they call me. They don't call me because I specialize in Marina Del Rey, which is where I live. They don't call me because I specialize in a certain type property. They call me because they know me, and they know my character.
What would you suggest to an up-and-coming agent or broker on how to build those connections, those relationships, if they don't have any? Say they just came to town and they don't know anyone. In your case, it definitely helped because you grew up here, you established those relationships early on, long before you became an agent or a broker. I could see how that definitely helped the process. But for someone who's just starting out in today's world, right, what would you suggest? I know they have the social media platforms, this, that, and the other. Would you suggest they go out and mix and mingle at different events? Because sometimes it takes years to form those relationships, right?
Absolutely.
And so I can see how you got a leg up there. So what would you tell? Say I walk, your office and say, hey Ben, I want to get into commercial real estate. it'll be great if you can give me some warm leads, right? But let's just say I don't have any warm leads. What would you tell a person?
The question that you just asked is the $1 million question, because I'm a mentor at the USC Dornsife mentorship program. I'm a mentor. I've been mentoring for about 4 years now. So every semester there's a student, a USC student, and he might have a similar background as mine. He might be interested in real estate or business or something along those lines. And we mentor. I mentor someone like that. Every year I tell my mentees the same thing. I'm going to answer the question that you just asked. Depending on your personality, depending on who you are as an individual, if you're comfortable with getting out and backslapping and handshaking and wearing out your shoe leather by going to meetings, do that. Do that. Establish those relationships. Let people know who you are, what type of person you are, what your interests are. Let them know your background. Because remember, there's 202,000 plus agents in the state of California. A person that's a brand new graduate of any university, they're very idealistic. They have the world in front of them. The world is their oyster. But when you get out there in that real world, you're going to have to know somebody. So like I said, I learned the business through a family friend. And if you don't have a family friend who's in real estate, then what do? Join an association. Inglewood Board of Realtors is a good start, a good place. It has a great potential for the future. Inglewood with Sophie Stadium, all the new development going along Century Boulevard, Prairie, Intuit is coming there. I think Google is coming there. All of these new commercial businesses and opportunities. So Inglewood Board of Realtors is a good place to start. It's not one of the largest, but you're going to get individual attention. People will pay attention to you. They'll give you the time of day. You're not going to be one of 1,000 members. That's a good start. I found a home. I've been a member of at least 4 associations. This is my home now, an Inglewood Board of Realtors. We're having our installation on March 28th.
I think it's 28th, yeah.
March 28th, Proud Bird Restaurant. All the new offices will be installed. We have a commercial marketing session on April 4th at our location, 722 East Manchester, ground floor at our office. So we think that there's good things coming. And so my long answer to your question is to consider all possibilities. But if you're a young person, go in with your eyes open. Go in with your eyes open. Realize that in the real estate industry, there's something called a disruptor. The disruptors are the Zillows and the Redfins and the Compasses, the online platforms that are competing with the typical real estate agent who gives value for their service. There's a reason why the commission is what it is. There's a reason. There's a ton of paperwork on any standard real estate transaction, and I'm talking about a regular, typical transaction, let alone one that has some issue of probate or a foreclosure. You've got long-term tenants in there. You have to pay a relocation fee to deal with people who have been tenants for a long time. So there's a ton of things that the average person, if you try to do a real estate transaction by yourself, it'll be the same thing as going and trying to pull your own tooth or trying to do a root canal on yourself or trying to represent yourself in court. So if you want to do that and you feel like you're confident and you have a certain something that everybody else doesn't have, go for it. But there's a reason why people pay what they pay the real estate commission for good representation. And I mean good representation. All
right, guys, you heard it. You heard it from the master himself, Ben Eubanks. Guys, we're going to take a break right now. We will be right back. This is some pretty good stuff, guys, so I hope you're taking notes. See you right after this, guys.